And the Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to identify a whole range of dimensions that are impacted by the three modes. For example, the food we eat. That's going to come up next week, I think. The food we eat, the work we do, the knowledge we have, the determination that we exhibit in something, the idea of what is penance, what is austerity, what is charity. We all give charity somewhere, right? But even that can be sattva guna, raja guna, or tama guna. And all of this impact our nature. So the more sattva is there, the more enlightened one is, to be able to see clearly. Just as in this room, if we turn down the lights, our ability to see is diminished. And the fact that in this room, about a third of us wear glasses already tells us that our ability to see is not so great. If we turn down the lights, it gets worse, right? And then when there's little light, you see a little better. And then when there's bright light, you see much better. So sattva is about enlightenment. Raja is about agitation. And tama is about being comatose, to sleep. And these three affect us every moment. And the Bhagavad Gita helps us to move from the tama towards the sattva. Because in sattva, we actually access what is called genuine happiness. So that's sort of the framework as to why this conversation. Make sense? Sorry, you were going to say something, I cut you off.
No, that's okay.
Go ahead.
No. I don't want to change the subject.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I guess my question to you two is, in the US, there's a class system based on the amount of money you make.
Right.
So, there's a middle class, there's a super wealthy, and the poor. So, my question to you is, obviously the caste system being according to nature and occupation versus the class system in the U.S. and a lot of Western countries and now India too,
Right.
based on the wealth. How do you see those? How do you reconcile those two?
Sure. The West, let's take America because we're all here, is primarily a capitalistic-based economy. It's based on capitalism. And in capitalism, because money is the denominator, everything is classified according to that. But it's not that somebody who's in a middle class or upper income class necessarily defines or what work they do. Their sense of happiness or what they feel contented by is back to what kind of work they do and what qualities they carry. That's why you find very so-called financially successful people very unhappy, because there are things that have not been addressed or resolved. One of the topics I actually like, or person as an example, is we all know who Robin Williams is or was. Yes? No? No Robin Williams? Comedian? You saw Mrs. Doubtfire movie?
Jumanji. See, Good Morning Vietnam would be mine.
I just realized that I said Robin Williams and no one. Oh God. Oh God. I'm so
Funny
dated.
Tarzan guy from Jumanji.
Yeah, I don't know.
We watched a very old movie called Dead Poets Society, Mrs. Doubtfire. Okay. Oh God. Okay, if I talk more, my age will be very quickly.
And then you'll realize he's lying, he's actually the oldest in the room.
My forgetfulness, I'm the oldest. Anyway, any questions, thoughts, comments, objections?
Well, to follow
Criticism,
up on what Russell was saying about like the caste as a matter of quality and inclination versus here it's primarily income driven. Does that mean that, especially in the US context, that if my inclination is more toward like labor, let's just say I just really like that kind of work, there's no real protection for following my heart and going into that line of work. So I'm condemning myself to a life of poverty by trying to align my work with my nature. And so just wondering if you have some thoughts or perspective on that when we're saying we should be aligned with our nature, when this is a very unforgiving place to be aligned with
Correct.
your nature.
The point we're making is someone here in life to reset is a lot more difficult. Like for let's say us, I'm sorry, I'm saying us. to go back and restart somewhere where our natures align with the work we want to do is a very, very big risk. It's tough. So we'll have to live with some sort of a compromise state. Unless someone has the guts to say, I don't care even if I'm financially blah. That's rare. The relevance I'm making is for sort of the group that is embarking on a journey that is still where there's so much more to see that as far as the money part, that will also come in a way that that satisfies you. At this point, if I were to ask you true or false, okay, more money equals more happiness. Mohit, more money equals more happiness.
To a certain extent, to a certain point.
Okay?
And then
So it's a matter of where you are in your journey for you to have that realization that yes, money is important. No doubt at all. It is important. Otherwise, none of us can pay our bills or live a life or buy a house or a car. But there will be a time, not far away, where you'll figure out that it's not everything. And since you are embarking on a journey, you will naturally find, my point to you is, don't just take on a job because the money is good. Take on a job where you can do what makes you feel good, what you feel will be in line with your nature. At least try that. Instead of between these two offers, they're offering a lot more money. In the short term, you may make that decision, fine, because you have student debt or blah, or you really want, but that will not be sustainable, is my point. Edward, does it make sense, Yashodhanandan?
Yes, yes.
Can I
Yeah,
also
boys,
just-
please.
I'm gonna add some complexity to this, because I think
Absolutely.
as you know.
Otherwise, why would you get dinner?
Yeah, right, as you, do other parts to this, because this could be a class in itself, because
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
fascinating. So, have you heard the phrase, it's a psychological phrase, where either you love what you do,
Right.
is what Prabhu's talking about, right? Or learn to love what you do. Right? Did I say that right? Yeah.
That's you did.
Okay. So the implication being is you've got to figure those two things out, right? In order to find true happiness, either you do what your nature is aligned with, or then the secret is oh, wait a minute, why am I selling vitamins? No particular reason why I like to sell or do vitamins. So I'm a perfect example of, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to love to do this, right? And so I'm sure that will go into how you accomplish that. So what Prabhu is giving you is the best advice. If you can align yourself now at such an early age to be aligned with what you want to do, that's the best course. And then those who don't, then we'll have to figure out, okay, so now I'm doing this, how do I become happy in that?
Anything else?
Can you have it all? Can you just,
Can you have it all?
yeah.
We would
can you
like
just
to.
Go for the money and then figure out how your nature aligns to the money?
I haven't heard this story. Unfortunately, I wish, we all wish it worked that way. We all wish. Thoughts, comments, objections? Do you agree with whatever I said? So tomorrow you're not going to take a job that offers good money, right? That's not the point though. You get the idea. Hey, mom and dad,
I didn't
I went to VVS. And I was like, idiot, get back home. Finding one's nature is part of anywhere else in IIT. You get the skill to find a job that pays you the money. I would claim that at VVS, you would find the skill that helps you find you, which is important also. Any closing comments? What's next? Then we'll stop here. Thank you for giving me your time, and thank you for spending your Friday evening with us here. We'll look to Yashodanandan telling us what to do.
Oh.
Oh, he's looking here. Yes, sir, what do we do?
So let's see, I guess it's normally now almost the time we have dinner, so maybe just some group thoughts. Should we do maybe even 10 minutes of kirtan and then have
Yes.
dinner a few minutes late? Okay. All right. Would you like to lead today, Russell?
Yeah, I did. This is not a brand show. I did my part.
Okay. It'll just be simple and sweet. And then one thing that I thought was really nice when, at least for those of us that were on the trip, is when we could just kind of gathered around rather than at our desks. So what do you think if we just take like a minute to destroy the room and just kind of sit together?
Yeah.
Destroy the